Hi folks, good morning, good morning. It is cold. The temperature has properly dropped, it's been so mild, but first thing for me to do today, I've got a little mount for the camera, so I'm hoping you're just balanced very precariously at the moment on the window frame. I feel like if I jump up and down the camera might fall. So I've got a little mount and I'm going to try and get you mounted on the shed wall, then we'll get the kettle on. Oh, feels so good to be able to say that. Let's see if it works. I think it works. Camera looks a little heavy, but we have it sorted. A new way of actually filming in the shed with light coming in from the window, which means you can see things. Oh, let's get the kettle on. I'm in a very good mood today, partly just because it's Christmas break and I'm happy to be here gardening, but also last night we booked our honeymoon. We're such procrastinators, you know, we're really bad for putting stuff off for ages and ages. And then yesterday we were just like, let's do it, let's book a honeymoon. And we spent ages looking at loads and loads of places. We found this place in Crete that just looks absolutely dreamy. And we finally got it all confirmed this morning. So very, very excited. Oh, I have forgotten, one of the feet has come off this, it was sat on top. I was meant to bring the glue. It's got a screw, the thread is just broken, but a bit of super glue will fix that right up. Got a new little, can you see that? Little rolly thing that I brought in from the polytunnel. Kettle sits quite nicely on top. Slide that back under. It's coming together. This is all temporary, obviously. There's a lot of temporary stuff still in here, but it's starting to come together. It's nice and usable. Yes, that's the stuff. One of the big issues at the moment with the shed is there's no space for a chair the way that I've got it laid out with all this timber at the back. So the chair's been folded up and put to one side for now. I definitely want more of a corner thing going on so that I can have a permanent chair and somewhere to sit. I just love it in here though. Lots of stuff to show you while the kettle is on. What have I brought up today? Lots more tea stuff, a tea towel for like washing stuff up, loads of mugs for my parents when they come by, and guests. Storage bins as well, just a couple of storage bins. I am really making good progress with the big plot tidy, just getting everything from everywhere on the plot into the shed. But it's been, you know, days and days I've spent doing it. There is just so much. I don't understand how it is still happening. And that's the plan for today. Lots more tidying, lots more doing. I've got the drill up here today, so I'm hoping to do the bottom of the sheds. Outside, I've got this. Now, this was not my plan. This is a shelving unit from Screwfix. And my plan was for the shed really to do everything a bit like bespoke, kind of building timber stuff off the walls, and I was buying some bits in Screwfix anyway, and I saw that it was massive. It was like 60 quid shelving unit down to like 20 quid. It was one of those ridiculous deals where you just go, yep, I'll have that without even thinking. And so I'll put that together. It'll probably go in here, replace this little shelf unit. And what I really want is something with drawers and something where I can just start filing everything away properly. We've got like trays of peas that I've been shelling from like all the pea seeds, beans. I've got like 100,000 random pots of screws and nails and tools and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm longing for it all to be organized. And it's just going to be, yeah, like I say, bit by bit, you know, things like the shelving unit. I need to get a load of tools up on the wall. I've got found this little magnetic doodah from the old shed, but unfortunately it's got these little plastic inserts that you're meant to screw through, but this is all broken plastic, so you need like a colossal sized wide screw or just some washers. So I've ordered some washers, and it'd be nice to get things like that up the wall, just little things, you know, to get metal tools hanging on the wall. I love it. And as well, Christmas present, get out the box, from my parents. Now, they saw Jessie had these little IKEA drawers on Potty Mouth Live, she had it in the background. And last year they brought me some, and they've stayed at home, and now I've got one that can live in the shed. So this will become a new seed box, basically, and it'll be really nice separating everything out into their own drawers. I will still keep all my legumes, peas, and things like that in a metal box that's a bit more mouse-proof, but for brassicas and lettuce leaves and all that kind of stuff, should be perfect in here. I think I put a bit too much water in this kettle, but yeah, plan for the day. I'm going to get this going, have a little cup of tea, and then I'll show you around. I wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of all the tidying stuff I'm going to do. I've mentioned a few times, it's very tricky to film, but Tony C. Smith managed to do a whole video of him sorting through his cardboard the other day. So I figure I could probably do one at the allotment. And the allotment is looking much worse than last time, actually. You know, last time I showed you in the polytunnel, I just sorted through all the timber. It was looking a little bit neater, a little bit tidier, and now it's just a bomb site. Quite a lot of the plot is like that. It's very much in the looking worse before it looks better stage. But getting these set up will be quite helpful, I think. Lots more to come in the shed. This is a good example. Some of the work I've been doing. This is all my Autopot kit. So I've given this all a good wash and sort through. And now it's stored relatively tidily in this big cardboard box. But ideally I need a proper storage place for that every winter. This watched pot is taking a very long time to boil. Can you hear this? Pitiful whistle. It's so close. There's nothing worse than when you make a cup of tea and the water's not quite piping hot and you get all that like gross foam on the top. It's gotta be. You gotta be patient. Come on. Just so close. There we go. The good stuff. Right, let's go and have a look at what a state the polytunnel is in. The greenhouse is looking pretty... Oh, let me show you this actually. Hang on. Do you remember my Christmas spuds? Well, I harvested them after Christmas. I didn't need to harvest them for Christmas. And it's a good thing we weren't banking on anything because this is all I got. But I must say, you know, two actually decent sized King Edwards. It was really interesting that it had put all its energy into these kind of two, as opposed to, I thought there would be loads of small ones. And just those two, which were pretty good size, so not too bad. As you can see, mess everywhere. I've been sorting through all of my seed trays and that kind of thing. I do need to plant out those Sweet Williams. Maybe I'll just pot them up and leave them in a pot over winter actually, in a bit more shelter. Got the green stalk there. Thankfully no one's nicked that, but it does look a bit tempting for someone, I'm sure. I guess most people won't know what that is unless you're kind of in the know. The chilies down here, this is probably the warmest spot, actually, this greenhouse, so those ones have probably got the best chance of overwintering. And they're all looking pretty much okay. No signs of kind of any rot or anything like that setting in. Greenhouse number 2 is getting there. The shelves are looking a little less busy. There's still quite a lot of sorting to do in there. I am probably going to leave these 2 shelves. I mean, they're pretty janky. They're a bit gross, a bit ramshackle, but they're fine. They do the job for storage and also for a little bit of overflow seedling space at the start of spring. I'm very conscious of the fact that I spent a lot of my last videos just talking about how excited I was about the kettle. But I've got to tell you, do you know how good it feels to walk around the plot with a fresh mug of tea? There's just something about it. Absolutely magical. Oh, when it's properly cold as well. So the situation in the polytunnel, to be fair, it's not that bad. And we've got progress down here. This is my garlic. I have finally planted it. And typically, as soon as I planted it, we've got some old cork grow matting on here. Let's get rid of that. Now, I'd been really slacking on this, but I thought, hey, we're having such a mild December. I'll put it in, and it should get off to a decent start. Obviously, garlic needs those cold temperatures. But when you first plant it, you do want it a bit more of a mild period so that they can start to set out their roots and sprout and do all that good stuff. And as soon as I planted it, it has now gone a bit cold, but I think it will probably still be okay in the polytunnel. We've got some elephant garlic, some Rhapsody white, and some cork white, and that's gone into these 4 really nice greens. Going to harvest some of those today. I've been saying that for the longest time, but I have actually harvested some of them, and they are very nice actually. They haven't got that super bitter winter flavour. I think this is a Valmaine lettuce, pretty good. Quite a lot of aphids though, so it does need a bit of attention. And then we've got this one as well, which is just some more garlic in there. I only did that a few days ago, so it'll be a little while until it's sprouted. You can see, look at all those healthy chili roots. Need to chop those up and get them in the compost. I have gone through a lot of the chili plants in here were looking kind of sad. So these remaining ones don't look too bad, but when you've got this on the stem, you can hopefully see there's quite a bit of dieback, a little bit of mold growth in there. It might bounce back, but the ones that looked really kind of like that, there were a few, and those went in the bin. I don't want to keep loads over winter, but I just struggle to get rid of them. Feels a little too soon to let these go, you know, so we'll give them a little bit of a chance. This champion, look at it, still just fighting on. I gave it a really good prune back, but still lots of healthy vegetation on there. This is what I'm talking about. You can see on this stem here, it's turned, and you've got a bit of that mold growth setting in. I think that's probably a bad sign. I doubt that that plant is going to survive. We'll see how these fare, and I'll carry on kind of taking out the bad ones as they go, saving that compost, saving that spent compost to be reused. We've got a whole iceberg lettuce growing in one of these autopots as well. You can see all of the autopot stuff has been taken out. I still need to tidy up the ground. I was really hoping that that water would have evaporated or drained away. That's not great, kind of grim. But the floor is so gross in here, full of peppers and seeds and that kind of thing. So need to get in there and give that a good clean, pile up some of this silver grow and get it all ready for next season. I've got this, which is full of like hose pipes and hose bits and bobs. Really don't know what to do with that. I need to find somewhere in the shed. But this corner is looking much better. Most of it is gone. I'll probably keep this little shelving unit in here and have a few select things. This is kind of irrigation stuff that I want to get set up a bit later on. Loads of assorted seed packets that have been, used and then not put back. Just kept finding those, not great. Got a little Louvre auto vent that I need to set up on my other greenhouse. I have as well got this water butt back here, which I'm planning on turning into the new autopot reservoir. One of the things about them, I've got a little plastic bin at the moment. This one just down here, which I think holds about 60 litres, which is pretty good. I think that one, I want to say is 160. I don't know, I might be making that up. I think it might be 140, something like that. But if I can get this set up, basically it's going to last a lot longer and it should be super simple. So that's the plan at some point anyway, but I have brought it in the polytunnel, which is a bit of a sign of intent. The problem with my tidying is that there's no method to it. It really is madness, and it's me jumping between doing 20 different things at once, so quite tricky to show. But the polytunnel is moving in the right direction, but like, not looking as tidy as last time in there. But I think that's enough yapping and updating. This is it. This is where I'm going to try and actually show you some progress. So I think I'm going to start with back here, getting these new shelves set up. If I try and, the problem with these Wilko shelves, I'm looking at it thinking, can I lift that up in one go and get it out? No, it's not worth it. These little cheap Wilko shelves are determined to fall apart. They do not want to stay together. So tempting. Just want to pick the whole thing up. Don't do it. No, don't do it. Don't do it. You mustn't. I'm assuming these shelves will fit. Not actually 100% sure. I'm sure it'll be fine. What could go wrong? Oh yeah. Oh yes, always. Well, I'm trying to get everything kind of in the shed, and build in some shelves. There we have it. Pretty fiddly, to be honest. I don't know if I would buy this again or if I'm kind of slightly regretting it and wish I'd just built something out of wood. The shelves, they look fine. They're pretty sturdy. This weird design is weird though, as I say. It's like it's a no nails thing, a no screws thing even. And I kind of just actually wish it did have screws. You basically have these little kind of rivet type things that go in the hole and then you tap them down. But they do lift out very easily. So I can imagine if you're kind of fighting to get something out of here and you knock the top thing, then it's gonna wanna pop out. Maybe I just gotta go around and give it a bit more of a whack. Yeah, it just needs a proper whack. Go around and give it a proper one. And obviously the more weight that you put on the shelves, the more kind of locked in they are. But it was pretty good, to be honest. The thing I was worried about is once I start putting it together, if you move it and then they all pop out. But hey, not too shabby. I'm very excited to get this absolutely loaded with junk. Get the stuff out of the way. So I'd say it probably took me about half an hour, maybe 40 minutes to put that first one together. There was a bit of chatting and there was a lot of figuring out. I did a few bits upside down, but it was fiddly. But if you had a stack of them, they're kind of designed for garages and that kind of thing. And if you had a stack, after you've done the first one, you could do the rest very, very quickly, especially if you had a hand as well. And once I tapped them all with the hammer, it really did solid up. So I was really, really happy with it. They retail for about 60 quid, I think, and I got it on a really good sale. So I would recommend it. There's definitely nothing wrong with it. And just getting stuck into the sorting here, you can see I've gone through so much stuff, and it's just little things like all the bits of wire, all the different pots of screws that I've accumulated, finding like little bits of drill bits that I've been missing for years that can go back in the pot. Really satisfying. Oh, that's heavy. Right then, folks. That has to be one of the all-time most satisfying things I've ever done in my life. I feel so good, like so relieved. Now, unfortunately, I lost about an hour's worth of footage there. Probably not the end of the world, because it was me going through, it was time-lapse, so it was fast-forwarded, but it was me going through the minutiae of like different screws, different nails, like the number of pots, like this kind of thing, that I had like 4 or 5 just filled with an assortment of like nails and screws basically. And I went through them with a fine-tooth comb. Just said, you know what, I'm gonna salvage anything that's usable. And there was lots of old rusty non-galvanized stuff and anything that had a bit of sign of, where the head strips that went in the bin, but they've all been sorted out. They've all been categorized into sizes. I feel so good. Let me show you roughly what's going on. I'm so relieved. This is just like one of those things that has been needing to be done for years. So there's still a bit of tidying to do in the greenhouses and polytunnels, but 90% of it now is pretty much in here. And I can't believe it. Like, it's so stupid, but who would have thought, if you actually use your space, you stack up high, you can, I've got a whole shelf here with nothing on it. And I'm almost done. And there's space up here. It feels so silly to be this happy about it, but I can't, I don't, don't know why it's making me this unbelievably like satisfied. I can't, it's just like, I've been living in just like mess on this allotment for so long, and there has been so rarely has there been space for something to have a place, and it's got a place. Things are going to have a home. Up here is basically, it's screws, it's nails, it's fixings, it's latches, it's all that kind of stuff on the left. I mean, these are not great. I could do with like some organisers, little tool caddy, that kind of thing. But, even just having them in these little pots is ideal. Like if I need the washers, I know that they're kicking about somewhere. In amongst all here, we've got a little pot with a stapler at the back, more screws than I'll ever need. They were on sale at Screwfix as well. And then over here, we've got all the greenhouse stuff. So these two, that's all my greenhouse clips for if I ever build another greenhouse. Just kidding, that's obviously never gonna happen. Just put the light on, might be able to see it slightly easier in this corner. Up here, we've got an auto pot. That's a bit of a temporary situation. Oh, spools of wire. I just love it so much. This is my auto pot storage. So this is gonna have all the little bits and bobs in. They're still drying in the polytunnel at the moment, and they're a little bit mucky, so I'll put them in here when they're dry. The actual pots like this, I'll probably keep in the polytunnel itself, because you can stack those and they don't take too much space. Little space for my camera bag, more space. Down here we've got all the, I don't know, these are not great. These are like bags of basically sort of crap that I don't want to get rid of. Little bits of guttering attachments and that kind of thing. Like I've got some guttering to do in the near future. I'm sure this will come in handy. In that one, there's lots of empty plastic bottles and that kind of thing, which is really good when it comes to mixing up fertilizer, or if you've got to water, bury them into the soil so you can get water straight to the plant roots, that kind of thing. There's an old sprinkler system in there that, to be honest, I could probably get rid of. I do doubt I'm ever going to use that, but it's one of those things. Why get rid of it? I've got a little collection here of all the various hand tools. This is what I sort of want to go on the wall somewhere. I'm not 100% sure where, but I'm thinking maybe up here, get one of those like tool boards or something like that that could clip in. We've got to the point now where I feel comfortable just doing this. Like simple little things, just bang it, just tap a screw in. Why not? Why not put a screw in? The timber is so chunky. It's just got a little place now to hang my headphones. This is the camera. This makes such a difference. I absolutely love it. And look at this little rescue. This is actually from the old shed. It used to be on the back of the door and I saved it just in case. And look at that, just popped it in. Little coat hanger. There's about 1 billion bags on the floor. This is what lots of stuff is just stored in. So lots more shopping bags to take home, which is nice. I want a bin. I really want like a proper bin for in here. Here as well, there's a lot of the taller tools that I do want to find something a little bit more elegant for. As a storage solution, it is fine for now though, but there's all of this timber. So what I'm going to do now is get a few of these longer pieces. There's this old skirting board here and a decking board, and I'm just going to pop those onto the bottom, just as a bit of like a board to kind of basically protect these cut ends. One of those things that needed to do for a little while, and that will pretty much be everything on the outside done for now until I come to build. I want to build like a little, you know, like a, what's it called, like a canopy, like a veranda type situation out here, because then I've got a little bit of an undercover area where I can put my mow the grass, lawnmower, and you know, the timber and stuff like that, so it doesn't have to be all the way in here. And then, to be honest, once this timber is gone out here, I'm going to have so much more space in this shed. It's just going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible, folks. Now, obviously, I love the shed. Oh, look, new boots, by the way, new wellies. Got some fancy ones. Little Christmas present to myself. Because my old ones had holes in. Well, really, a Christmas present from the patrons. Thank you very much for all your support. Now, yeah, so what I was saying, the shed. I love this shed, obviously. I think it is absolutely incredible. But one thing about it, I feel like maybe it's a little bit too good for an allotment in some ways, you know? And so I thought it would be good to use scrap wood. At the bottom, I've got a load of, you know, this kind of stuff. I'm obviously going to have it so you can't see the white paint. I'll put that on the inside because that would stand out a little bit. And then you know what else I've got? Good old-fashioned pallet wood. I've had some bits kicking around the back garden that I figured I should use for quite a long time, and I just feel like it'll be a nice little touch. It's right along the bottom, so you'll never really see it, hopefully, anyway. But I just thought it would be a bit fitting, you know, give a little bit of allotment to this shed. Oh, it's going to be an issue with the door, actually. Can you see? There's a bit of funk where these things come down a little bit lower. I suppose this is a little bit low. So long as we can get most of it covered up, I think it'll be fine. It's just a little bit of extra protection for these cut ends so that they're not sucking up water. This might be too thick, actually. I don't want water to hit here and then just sit and soak in, because that will be counterproductive. So I actually need some thinner wood, which is a bit frustrating. Now, you know what is absolutely typical? Yes, every single piece of wood I have is too thick. I think what this actually needs is probably just a thin piece like this barge board. So I might have to buy it. Might have to forgo my idea of having a little bit of an allotment base here. Yeah, this is one of the spare bits I couldn't use, and that's exactly what I need, I think. Maybe I'll have to order some. What a shame. A nice idea. Slightly disappointing, but not the end of the world. What I think I'm going to do instead of that is tackle the seeds, because there are seeds absolutely everywhere. I've just got that nice new seed box I'm going to fill out. There's absolutely loads in the greenhouse, and I'm still going to have the main sowing station in the greenhouse, but I think having the seed store in here will be quite nice, because mainly greenhouse gets quite wet, you know, you're chucking water around all the time, and so these boxes aren't going to want to get too wet. They'll start to swell and go all mank. But having this as sort of like the main seed store, and then I take the seed packets into the greenhouse, I feel like will work quite well. Or maybe I'll just end up finding somewhere to put this in the greenhouse. But for now, I can go through, like the screws, there are packets of seeds absolutely all over the place. Look, there's some down here on this very desk. So that's going to keep me busy. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this kind of scattered video. I tell you what as well, I was doing all of this and I did about 3 other jobs as well. I got completely sidetracked. I tied up some of the netting, all that sort of stuff. You know, it's just very scatterbrained when I'm in this tidy mode, but oh my goodness, is it satisfying. I can't believe there's still quite a lot of space on there. So, like I say, thank you ever so much for joining me. An extra special thank you to all of my Chili Pepper tier patrons, Tony, Bill, Pam, Mel, Michael, Socks, Dorcasaur, Louise, Andre, and Brett. Hopefully, I'll see you again in the next one.